What's going on, people in YouTube land? KimchiChris here, and welcome to today's brand new video where we are going to discuss a current topic in the world of Kiss. We are going to talk about all the things that Bob Kulick is doing and how he's really digging a grave for himself, and he's doing some stuff that I don't think Damage Control will be able to help in a million years, which is really too bad because I like Bob Kulick. I like his playing. I think that he was really nice when I met him. He was a good guy, seemed like a good guy, spent some time with me, and he's just an interesting character in the Kisstory timeline for his contributions and how he's kind of always been on the side, but he's been doing some stuff recently that's not going to, it's not going to help him, I don't think, in the scheme of things, and if anything, he is completely burning the bridge that he has to be associated with Kiss in any way, shape, or form. So let's dive into what exactly Bob Kulick is doing. But first and foremost, let's tell you who Bob Kulick is, because if you're not a hardcore Kiss fan, you don't know who he is. Let's just be fair. And even if you're a hardcore fan, you still might not know who he is, but he is the brother of Bruce Kulick, who of course was in the band for quite a number of years. And Bob has been there since the very beginning, not making the band and always being on the side, being a ghost player, a session musician for them, if you will, you know, playing songs when Ace was a little bit too aced up to do the recordings himself. He also played on Paul's solo record in '78. He toured with Paul on his solo tour that he did, you know, right before Hot in the Shade in the late '80s. And he also is a Grammy Award-winning producer. If you didn't know that, just listen to any of the interviews he's done recently and you'll learn that fact about 100 times over in those interviews. He really has to drill that in your head quite a bit. And outside of the world of Kiss, he is a producer, and he's produced Motorhead. He worked on the Sweet Victory song that's the semi-big hit from SpongeBob SquarePants, and that's a dope song, honestly. It's a great one. I was really excited when I learned that he was part of that because it is such a cool song. And he's done all kinds of stuff behind the scenes. He's put out about 1 million tribute records and played on about 1 million tribute records, and he's appeared at Kiss Expos and all kinds of stuff. So he's definitely been able to carve a very interesting career for himself, but I guess he decided that he wanted to go ahead and retire because he's trying to burn every bridge he has right now in the Kiss world. And let's just be fair, he's most known in the Kiss world compared to any of these other things that he's been involved in. So if you don't know what's going on, you're probably asking yourself, Kimchi, what exactly did Bob do? Well, not only will I tell you what he did, I will show you what he did. This post right here from his Instagram is what really started all this. Now, it turns out he had done an interview with Mitch Lafon a little bit earlier where he really goes into details about some of this stuff as well. And even though Mitch Lafon has zero journalistic integrity, if you ask me, it's still a very interesting interview if you go back and listen to it. But basically the summary of it all, if you don't want to read these words that are right in front of you, is he's mad at Bruce. He's mad at Bruce for selling Kulick Brothers merchandise on KissArmyWarehouse.com. Merchandise is still available. Go pick some up if you want it. It's cool merchandise. Go get yourself an autographed photo and a shirt. And he's mad at that being sold. He's mad that Bruce apparently has a restraining order against him. He's mad at everybody in Kiss, and he's just mad at the world, and he wanted the world to know. Now, personally, to me, it's interesting that he's mad about these photos and these shirts being sold in particular, because the shirts were being sold when Bob and Bruce were at the Indianapolis Kiss Expo back in 2018. So he was aware these things existed, but apparently he just doesn't want them sold on that website, I guess. I don't know. They were available there, and those guys did a set there, and it was amazing. It kind of sucks that we'll never get another Kulick Brothers set because I got to see one of the two that happened, the Kiss Cruise and the Expo there, and they were wonderful, and Bob was amazing on stage. But those shirts were being sold there, and he's mad about them now, and of course he obviously signed those photos unless they're forged, which who would forge a Bob Kulick autograph? So he knew those were out there, so I don't really know why he's that mad about those. He says it's copyright infringement and all these other things, but I don't know. It seems like he's kind of went off the deep end recently, so I don't know. He's living in his own world. Bob Kulick is in Bob Kulick's Bob Kulick reality, where he's a Grammy award-winning producer and he is God's gift to music, so it's all good. And then after this post was made, of course, this lit the internet on fire, lit it on fire, and you know, he had more coverage online than he's had in quite a while, in all honesty. Again, it sounds like I'm putting the guy down. I'm just trying to be truthful. I like his music. I like his solo record he put out a couple years back. I think his, you know, artistic output is good, but you gotta say it like it is, and you know, he is not talked about a lot online, but he's been talked about a lot online in recent time, myself included, talking about him here. And he did an interview with the Metal Voice, which is a really cool show, and he sounded like a crazy person. He sounded like a crazy person, and I get why Bruce has a restraining order against him at this point. I know they're brothers, but if this is how he's conducting himself in a public medium that's supposed to, you know, make him look good, I don't even want to think what he's doing behind closed doors. I don't even want to think about it. It's got to be awful. It has got to be awful what he's doing. Now, he says a lot of interesting things about, you know, his past with Paul, staying in Paul's apartment, and his involvement with his pay for Alive 2 and all these other things. And some of that stuff might be true, and if it is, it's very interesting, and I would highly encourage you guys to check out the Metal Voice interview with Bob. I'll leave the link below. It's a cool show in general, and that's a really good episode, but it's really hard to take in, and you can tell the interviewer is just trying to restrain him at times to a degree and doesn't really know how to handle it because he's just going off on these tirades and just sounding like a crazy person. There's no other way to say it. He sounds like a crazy person. He brings up the fact that he's a Grammy Award-winning producer about 1,000 times throughout the interview. He talks about Motorhead and all these things that he's done that are bigger than Kiss and all these other things, but at the end of the day, nobody really thinks about Bob when they think about these things, and he doesn't seem to realize that. He thinks that when those kids are at home watching SpongeBob SquarePants and Sweet Victory comes on, they go, yeah, that's Bob. That's Bob that did that. I'm a fan of Bob. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. He's a background musician at best most of the time, except in the Kiss world when he puts out a solo record or has performed with his brother. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being a guy in the background. He even talks about how he's more of a producer than performer in this interview. And those are the moments where he does sound like a sane person again, because that is more of what he is. He's a studio guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing at all. And for all these years, he was part of the Kiss family in that way, but I don't know, I guess he had too much. You know, maybe some weird stuff was going on in the background. He talks about how Kiss were all backstabbers to him, how Bruce was a backstabber, how Keith, who works with the band, was a backstabber. Everybody was just, you know, picking on poor Bob, but I don't know. I have a hard time believing all of that, but at the same time, I kind of wonder why he even came to the public with all this. You know, if they're truly selling merch without his permission, with his face and his name on it, you know, that's an issue. I do agree on that, but again, most of the merch was pressed when he was in good graces with his brother, so I also have a hard time believing that's even true. So I really don't know where I stand on this, but he's not doing any favors for himself, and I wish he'd dial it back just a little bit, because he could really save grace. He's coming off sounding like Vinnie Vincent does in interviews at this point, you know, like he's in his own world and just crazy and doesn't know what's going on and just is completely detached from reality, and that's not a good look. That is not a good look at all. And on top of that, he has a crazy idea that he thinks every studio musician and producer and everyone involved with Kiss ever should go on stage with them at their last show and play with them, himself included, of course. And while that would be cool at a Kiss Expo, if you had every background musician, you know, minus Kiss, because you're not gonna have Kiss at a Kiss Expo, but if you had every background musician do a set and play the songs they were known for, that would be cool. But let's be real. At the last Kiss show, be it at an arena, a stadium, a field, whatever it ends up being at, they are not going to bring Bob Kulick on stage to play Larger Than Life, and that's what he suggests. It's not going to happen. It's not a big hit song. The general public does not know who Bob Kulick is. They're not going to bring the other producers, the other background players. He talks about how the, I forget his name, but the guy from Mr. Mister who played the solo on Creatures of the Night, they talk about bringing him on stage. That's not going to happen. And that's who he even says is his favorite Kiss guitarist when asked. He refuses to say that he likes Ace or Bruce or Vinny or anybody, which is really funny because, you know, he talks about how Ace is a sloppy player but a good player, but he refuses to admit liking anyone in the band. He basically says that that guy's his favorite Kiss guitarist and he's his second favorite Kiss guitarist. Guess what? Neither of them were ever Kiss guitarists. And when they were doing their takes, they were basically imitating Ace, and I'm not saying they're bad guitar players. Again, I know I'm repeating myself. I think Bob is a wonderful guitarist. I really do. But he really needs to, he needs to stop. He needs a PR guy, and his PR guy needs to put him in his place and say, you know, stop it. You know, his PR guy, he needs to hire a PR guy, and the PR guy needs to come out and say, you know, I'm so sorry, Bob has been off of his medication for the last little bit, and I'm in control now, and these are the things that he actually means we want to apologize. But even then, I don't know if he could do anything. The bridge is burned at this point. Kiss is done with him. He's not valuable to Kiss. He thinks that he's valuable to Kiss. He even talks about producing a last song for them. That's not happening. That's not happening. It could have happened, potentially, had you not done this. I really don't think it would happen one way or another, but you would have had a better chance had you not went on social media and destroyed them and been in all these interviews destroying them, and now you have YouTube idiots like myself talking about how you destroyed them and how you have destroyed your chances for any type of career with them. And honestly, you've hurt yourself for even working with other people, because other musicians will be scared that if you even remotely disagree with them, you're just going to come out and trash them in the media and social media and such. So I don't see a lot of people wanting to work with Bob at this point, and it's really sad because he's a talented guy, but it is what it is. A lot of these guys just, they don't need to be let to their own devices when it comes to social media. Again, we saw this with Vinnie Vincent when he was supposedly controlling his Facebook page. It seemed like he was because it was so crazy and eventually got deleted. And Bob's going down the same route, and that's not a good look. It's not a good look to be associated with Vinnie. Maybe they should do a show together or something. Now, Bob would, you know, probably clean house with Vinnie as far as playing goes, because he's a wonderful musician. At the Indianapolis Kiss Expo where I saw him play last year, he killed it on stage. He was one of the highlights there. I mean, amazing musician, amazing player, great on stage, really should be on stage more. But that being said, what do you guys think of this situation? It's weird, it's a little sad, but it's worth talking about on a channel like this that talks about Kiss a lot. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this. If you're new around here, hit that subscription button because there's always cool stuff coming out from the channel. Hit the alarm so you actually get the updates as well. It really helps the channel out more than you will ever know. And, you know, maybe hit that thumbs up as well. That definitely helps the channel out as well. Again, my name is KimchiChris, and I will see you guys on the next video.